Breaking news alerts, overnight news, plus weather and traffic every 10 minutes. CBS 47 on your side this morning begins with breaking news.
Good morning again, everyone. I'm Zara Arboleta. It is 6 a.m., mid-30s outside our studios. That huge announcement made overnight at the Vatican. Pope Benedict XVI is stepping down effective the end of this month. Apparently, the Pope's closest advisors were caught off guard by his announcement. He made it around 2:30 our time this morning. Here's a live look at the Vatican. He's leaving because he says he is not strong enough to perform his religious duties. He also says he'll spend his remaining days in prayer. The Pope is 85 years old. This is the first time in 6 centuries a Pope has voluntarily stepped down. Alan Pizzi is in Rome with an update.
Benedict XVI's announcement of his resignation this morning came as a surprise to many, but apparently he did tell a couple of his closest aides several weeks ago that he was going to do this. But the Vatican's not a place that leaks, and so they kept it extremely quiet. The Pope said that he'd done this after a period of deep reflection and conversations with God, if you will, a lot of praying, and he felt that it was the right thing to do. Papal spokesmen have said that there is no specific health reason, no specific reason of pressure on the papacy that made the Pope decide to do this. He just thought that, unlike others who have soldiered on to the end, he felt that the work was too important for him to carry on in a weakened state, and so he decided he would resign. Now, that resignation becomes official at 8 p.m. Rome time on February the 28th, after which there will be a conclave, which is a gathering of all the cardinals around the world, and they will elect a new pope in secret within the Sistine Chapel. Now, the Vatican hopes that they will have a new pope and expects to have a new pope in time for Holy Week, which begins on March the 24th. There's no reason to suspect that they won't. But as soon as the pope resigns, he then virtually disappears. He will spend a couple of weeks out at Castel Gandolfo near here. That's the official papal summer residence. And then he will probably go and live inside Vatican City in a closed area. He won't speak in public again. He won't infringe in any way on the authority of his successor. And that will be the end of him. It will be as if he died, but he'll just be hidden away. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Rome.
Now, because the Pope did not die, that traditional mourning period, of course, will not be taking place here. So that means that the College of Cardinals, they're the ones who will elect the new Pope, can start that work quicker, which is why they're saying that they could have a Pope in place, they hope to, by Easter. Continuing our coverage, thousands of Catholics in the Valley are just waking up to the news right now. CBS 47's Mike Scott is live once again from St. Anthony's Church in Fresno. Mike?
Yeah, good morning, Sarah. St. Anthony's is at Bullard and Maroa in North Fresno, and they have a 6 o'clock rosary that's going on right now inside the church. A very small group of folks in there, but we did talk with some of them as they were going in. Some of the people had heard the news about the Pope, but others, like Francis Sampson, he had not heard the news at all. You haven't heard about the Pope?
No, what did the Pope do?
The Pope is resigning at the end of this month. He says his health is failing and he can't do the job anymore.
You're not serious.
I am serious. That's why we're here this morning.
Well, I can tell you, he's going to be a great loss because he has been an inspiration and a great leader for our church.
And basically everyone we talked with this morning said the same thing. They thought he's been a great leader, and they hope that the cardinals at the Vatican will choose a good new pope. And as you mentioned, it may be a fairly quick process since they don't have to go through the period of mourning when a pope dies. Since Pope Benedict is just resigning, they can start that process almost immediately of selecting the new pope.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. And a little bit later in the newscast, we're going to share some of Mike's pictures from when, Mike, you saw the Pope perform a mass.
It wasn't a mass, it was his general audience.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, back in January of 2010. So yeah, the pictures are there on my blog. It was an incredible experience, and you can check out all those pictures at CBS47.tv.
Yeah, we just saw a couple right here. I'm sorry, that's right, it's not a mass. This is something he did, you were saying earlier, every Sunday?
No, every Sunday he comes out in his, in the balcony window, those famous pictures you always see of the Pope. And then on Wednesday is when he has that general audience. And folks come from around the world to go to that. And it's an interesting meeting because everything he says, Zara, he repeats in like 8 or 9 different languages.
Wow.
So it goes on for several hours. He'll say something in English and then repeat it in, Spanish and Russian, and he'll go through all the languages. And it's kind of strange because the crowd, it becomes almost a pep rally. The crowd cheers each time the Pope starts speaking in the different languages. The people that understand him in that language, they're so happy to hear him speaking their language. It's a very, very fascinating thing to see in person, and I'm glad I had a chance to do it.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I can't keep track of all the different ceremonies and everything that they do. Thanks for straightening that out.
Sunday in the window, Wednesday at the general audience.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my old teachers at Notre Dame.
All right, and we're still waiting for Father Blessing to arrive here. They have a 6:45 Mass this morning. If he'll talk with us, we'll bring you his comments a little bit later.
And you said there's a rosary this morning as well, right?
Yes, just a very small group of folks, but we did talk with 3 or 4 people on the way in, and we'll bring you more of their comments a little bit later in the morning.
Okay, thank you so much. Mike Scott reporting live from St. Anthony's in Fresno. 36 degrees at 6:06. It is a cold, dark morning right now. Jenny Toasty standing by with the latest on that freeze warning.
That's right. Good morning, Zara. Good morning, everybody. We do have a freeze warning in place. The good news is we're not really seeing those temperatures below the 28-degree mark. That's the one that's so critical for our citrus growers. So far, we are doing okay. Here's a look at our live pinpoint Doppler, and you can see that we do have a freeze warning until 9 for the valley. For the foothills and the mountains, though, it is still gusty there. Wind advisory until 10 o'clock. Watch out for those gusty winds affecting your driving, and also it can blow some limbs down to the roadway, so you want to watch out for that as well. Temperatures for the valley right now, 30 degrees in Hanford and Lemoore. Again, good news, we're not in the 20s. 32 in Tulare and Merced, 33 in Los Banos, 34 in Dinuba, Visalia, and Porterville. Again, these are airport readings, so it can be a little bit colder out in the more rural areas. Temperatures in the city hitting 40 by 8 o'clock. We'll be moving into the 50s by noon with 59 degrees for your high today. We'll have more on our warmer forecast in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Jenny. Financial news in this morning's Money Watch brought to you by Security First Bank. Here's Ashley Morrison.
Stock markets in Hong Kong and in mainland China are closed today for the Lunar New Year holiday. Markets in Japan are also not open due to a public holiday. This week, Coca-Cola, Cisco Systems, and General Motors will report their earnings. Wall Street will try and hit its 7th winning week in a row. Investors have put more than $4 billion into stock mutual funds since the beginning of the year. On Friday, the Dow rose nearly 49 points. The Nasdaq climbed about 29 to close at a 12-year high. Airports in the Northeast are returning to normal operations after the snowstorm crippled much of the East Coast and led to thousands of flight delays and cancellations. Almost 6,000 flights were canceled. Most airlines say they waived ticket change fees for their passengers. And the Postal Service says that mail delivery was suspended over the weekend because of the snowstorm will resume today. However, some roads, especially in rural areas, may not be passable. Customers are asked to clear their mailboxes and walkways of snow and ice to help letter carriers avoid slipping and falling. That's your Money Watch. For more, stay with CBSMoneyWatch.com. Ashley Morrison for CBS 47 on your side.
36 degrees at 6:08. It is a big week for the South Valley as the World Ag Expo rolls into town. We're on your side with a preview and some passes. And we can't get enough of this video. A mascot fail in Bakersfield. Look what happened at the Condors game with a real-life condor. And look at those clouds at the Vatican. This is another live look at Vatican City, where the Pope announced just about 3.5 hours ago he is stepping down. I can't get over the fact this is the first time since 1415 that a pope has stepped down. Much more on this story next.
It's Extras